Hello everyone, this is for reviewing how to factor for Chapter 6. Everything that's on this page, notice that the leading coefficient is 1. When the leading number is 1 and you're factoring, it's really just about, your times tables. You're going to unfoil it. You want to know, what did you foil to get this? And the word FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. You multiplied the first things together to give you x squared. So the only choice you have is x and x. So for all of these, when the leading coefficient is 1, they're all going to start with x. Every single one of them. Because when you FOIL, that's the only thing that you could multiply together to give you x squared. Okay? Now, the next thing you focus on is the last number. You're looking for what multiplies to give you 24 and what adds to give you -10. Okay? You're going to focus on those two numbers. And I'll explain it why that's what you're doing in just a second. So 24, you're looking for, or you have to recognize that when you do the last terms, they've multiplied, so I did the L, they multiplied to give you 24. Now you have multiple options for things that'll give you 24, like 3 and 8, 4 and 6, 2 and 12, things like that. Now also recognize that they're multiplying to positive, but I'm telling you they're adding to negative. So that's the clue that both of the numbers are negative, because then they're going to multiply to positive 24, but add to -10. And notice right here, here's the combination that does it. So -4, -6. And if you FOIL it, so there's x squared, outside, -6x, inside, -4x. Notice that adds to the middle. And last gives you positive 24. So that's why you're looking for numbers that add to the, or multiply to the end, add to the middle. Multiply to the end, add to the middle. 2 and 8. They multiply to 16, add to 10. Multiply to 20, add to -9. Okay, so you have like 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Again, they're adding to negative, multiplying to positive, so they're both negative or minus. Okay? Things that multiply to 20 and add to 12. So that would be 2 and 10. Okay, 42 is a little bit harder. So what comes to mind when I think of 42 is 6 times 7. Again, all these leading coefficients are 1, so it's going to start out x and x. They're multiplying to positive, adding to negative. And so we got +6, +7. Okay, FOIL it quick, just to remind you what you're doing. So x squared plus 7x plus 6x plus 42. So right there, they're adding to the middle, okay, and multiplying to the end. All right? When the last number is negative, you're multiplying to -8. So that's like -2 times 4 or +2 times -4. But either way, when you see the end being negative, that means they have to be opposite in sign. Okay, they start out x and x. They're multiplying to -8 and adding to 4. It's got to be this combination right here, -2 plus 4. Okay, do you understand the FOIL process? Okay, so here's another one. They're multiplying to -8. So things that give you 8 would be 1 and 7, or 1 and 7, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Okay, they're multiplying to negative, adding to positive. So minus, plus, -1 plus 8. Okay. You can continue through practicing these. I'm going to jump down and start looking at some of these last ones. Okay, it's all just about, your times tables. What multiplies to 4 adds to 5. 1 and 4. Okay. The one I want to start looking at are these last 4. They're multiplying to -9, but adding to 0. The leading coefficient is still 1, so they're x and x. Multiplying to 9, adding to 0. So things that'll give you 9, 3 and 3, minus plus. If you need to FOIL it, look at it. X squared plus 3x minus 3x minus 9. Notice the middle is going to cancel out. And now look at these two things. They're identical, but one's a plus, one's a minus. That's called a difference of square pattern. Here, the middle is missing. It doesn't have to be written out like this one's written out. Okay, I just did that to help you see it. So multiplying to negative 16, adding to 0. So that's minus 4 plus 4. Which order you write that is, it doesn't matter. That you can write x plus 4, x minus 4, and it works just fine. Okay, but again, that's the difference of square pattern. Okay, one way to see it is you square rooted the front to get x, square rooted the back to get 4 when you see this pattern. Okay, now that's to help you see it. That's not what you actually do to factor it. I'm just showing you that's a technique you can use to help you see what belongs here. Okay, you can't square root like that. That's inappropriate. I'm just doing that as a tool to help you see what numbers belong there. Okay, so x, 5, and 5. One's a plus, one's a minus. It doesn't change here now that this leading coefficient isn't 1. These two things have to multiply together to give you 4x squared. So like 2x and 2x. Now remember, I said these had to be identical. But one's a plus, one's a minus. That's why I chose 2x and 2x, not 4x and x. It's true. Those would multiply to give you 4x squared. But to get this pattern to work, remember these have to be identical. One's a plus, one's a minus. Now, what's the square root of 36? 6. One's a plus, one's a minus. Okay? And you can FOIL this so you can see that it's going to work. Okay? Let's do it quick. So we got first 4x squared outside minus 12x inside plus 12x. Notice the middle cancels out. 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. And this is gone. Okay, so there it is. It worked. Again, they're identical, but one's a plus, one's a minus. This again is called the difference of square pattern. Okay, it's different than these. To back up again here, just so you don't lose track after having this conversation down here, the leading coefficient is 1, so they're both x. What multiplies to negative 20 adds to 1. There's a 5 and a 4, but if I make this one minus, I get negative 20, and then they're going to add to 1. So plus 5 minus 4. Okay? All right. I'm looking for you to expand these. So you FOIL them. 4x squared plus 6x minus 6x minus 9. Again, notice the middle cancels out. And you got 4x squared minus 9. 9x squared minus 12x plus 12x minus 16. Again, the middle cancels out. And you get 9x squared minus 16. Same thing here. 25x squared plus 5x minus 5x minus 1. The middle cancels out. It does that every time you have this pattern. And you end up with 25x squared minus 1. Again, that pattern is called the difference of squares because it's a difference, and this is a perfect square, and that's a perfect square. Something's been squared, and something's been squared, and you're subtracting them. So to quickly factor those, when you have this pattern, something squared minus something squared, square root the front, square root the back, and one's a plus, one's a minus. Who you put as plus and who you put as minus really doesn't matter because you're multiplying it together. Square root the front, square root the back. I'll write this one minus that one plus to show you it doesn't matter. Okay? Again, do you know your times tables? Do you know how to square root things? 2x, 2x, 9, 9. One's a plus, one's a minus. Okay? Now that's the difference of square pattern. Okay? And you ask, well, where's the middle? Well, the middle falls out, remember? 4x squared minus 18x plus 18x. The middle cancels out. Every single time you have this pattern, the middle's going to cancel out. Okay? The perfect square pattern is different. It's not the difference of square pattern. It's a perfect square pattern, something squared. That means x plus 2 times x plus 2. FOIL it. X squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. Notice you have 2 of the middle. 2 of exactly the same thing. So this would be 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So that's 4x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 9. You have exactly the same thing in the middle. You have 2 of them. Every single time you do this, you're going to get 2 of them. 4x minus 3 times 4x minus 3. So you have 16x squared minus 12x plus 9. You have 2 of the middle. They're identical. So you're in effect double the middle. You've got 2 of the middles. Okay? So that would be 9x squared minus 6x plus 4. Again, 2 of the middle. Now, if you know you're going to get 2 of the middle, what we're working for is to avoid having to do that work of writing 2 of the middle. Okay, so the pattern you notice is every single time the front is the first thing squared. The front is always the first thing squared. Well, why? Because you're multiplying it by itself. So you square the first. I'm just going to write it kind of symbolically. Square the first thing. Now, the middle, notice you have 2 of these 2 things multiplied together. You have 2 of these 2 things. 2 of these. Well, where did they come from? They came from multiplying these together. See, there and there. Which in effect is just multiplying these 2. In effect, it's just multiplying these 2. So you multiply and double. Well, heck of a double. And we print it. Maybe that's going to be better. Okay. Then look at the last thing. It's always positive, and it's always squaring the last term. It's always squaring this thing. Square it. Square it. Okay? And square the last. So, when you go to factor them, if you squared the first thing to get it, square root the first thing to find it. If you squared the last thing, square root it to find it. Now, whoops, that's the wrong symbol. And then take the sign of the middle. Okay? That's a minus, so I'm going to put minus. And I'm going to show you that it worked. Square the first thing, multiply together, and double it. So that'd be minus 6x times 2 is minus 12x. Square the last thing. There it is. Square at the front, square at the back, take the sign in the middle and put it in. And show you, square it, then you go to FOIL it, so 25x squared. Multiply these together, so that would be minus 10x and a minus 10x, so you're doubling it, so that'd be minus 20x. Because you're going to get 2 of them. Square the last thing. So, this one, 5x, 5x, 3, 3. I'm getting those from here. The sign in the middle is plus. And to show you it works, look at the O and the I of FOIL. See if it gives you the 30. 15x, 15x, you're adding them, so 30x. Okay? So to do it, you've got square root the front, square root the back, minus, minus. So technically, because you have 2 of them, you've got that thing squared. It's a perfect square. Remember, you cannot distribute this in because you're adding or subtracting. You cannot do that. Okay? So here, we got 7x, 7x, 2, 2. The middle is minus, so they're both minus. So your answer is 7x minus 2 squared. It's a perfect square is what this is called. So 3x, 3x, 4, 4. The middle is plus. So it's 3x plus 4 squared. Okay? to recap before I leave this page, this is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. Okay, these are perfect squares. That is different than the difference of square pattern that doesn't have a middle. The middle is missing. It's 25x squared plus 0x minus 16. And you get the pattern by square rooting the front, square rooting the back, and one's a plus, one's a minus. Whereas on this, they're both plus or both minus. So that gives you the square. Okay? Perfect square pattern, difference of square pattern. Okay? Foil these. All right? Now this is just when it's going to be the generic factoring that you have to do. Okay? There's not going to be a special pattern about this. The last two, they were special patterns. It was the difference of squares and a perfect square. These are when they're just random factoring. But to get that, you really need to understand how FOIL works. So let's FOIL it. 3x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 2. 3x squared, that's a 3, so that'd be minus 5x plus 2. Okay, there's no pattern here, meaning this, it's not like you square root the front, square root the back, or anything like that. Okay, you just have to understand these added to the middle. Okay, so FOIL it. 3x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 2. So 3x squared plus 1x minus 2. Now the only thing that's going to be true about this when you look at it is that the fronts multiplied to give you this and the last multiplied to give you that. Okay? So 9x squared, oh, that's the difference of square pattern, isn't it? So 9x squared minus 4, because the middle is going to cancel. Notice, 6x, or minus 6x plus 6x, the middle's gone. So when you see that pattern, you can just square the first, square the last, and subtract them. Okay, FOIL this. 2x squared minus 10x minus 3x plus 15. So 2x squared minus 13x plus 15. Notice they multiplied to a positive on the end but added to a negative in the middle. So they're both negative. These are patterns you need to watch for. If the middle's negative and the end's positive, they're both negative. Okay, again, this is about understanding the FOIL pattern, what happens when you FOIL. Okay, 2x squared plus 10x minus 3x minus 15. So 2x squared plus 7x minus 15. The key that they're opposite in sign, one's a plus, one's a minus, is this end. The end is negative, so they both have to be opposite in sign. I suppose that was a poor phrasing. One's positive, one's negative. Okay, difference of square pattern again. 4x squared minus 9. Okay, you can just jump straight in there and do it. Here, 5x squared plus 15x plus 2x plus 6. So 5x squared plus 17x plus 6. Notice that when the middle is positive and the end is positive, they're both positive. 3x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 2. So 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. That's just a different square pattern, so we're going to move on. Okay, so when I ask you to come and FOIL these, you have to understand the pattern above. You have to understand FOILing. You know that the first two things multiplied together to give you the 2x squared, just like up here. These two things had to multiply together to give you the 5x squared. So what's my only choice for getting the 2x squared? Well, I need a 2x and an x. The end multiplied together to give you the end. The ends are multiplying together to give you negative 3. Now you have two choices here of what this could be. The 3 could go here and the 1 could go there, or the 1 could go here and the 3 could go there. The process you go through to do this is you guess. I don't know which one it is. I'm going to try it and see what happens. Now, because this is negative, one's a plus, one's a minus. Now, you know for sure the front is going to work. And you know for sure the back is going to work. Don't bother checking them. What you need to check is the O and the I of FOIL to see if it gives you the 5x. That's what you have to check. So you do the outside. Minus 2x, inside, plus 3x. It didn't give me the middle. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It's all about guess and check. Okay, so this first option didn't work. So try switching where the 3 and the 1 went. Again, you need one's a plus, one's a minus. Check the outside. Minus 6x, inside, plus 1x. I got a minus 5x. I need a positive 5x. So the only change you need to make is switch the signs. And now you have it. So the process you go through is guess and check. You guess and see if it's it, and then check just the outside and inside. Okay? I'm going to guess it's 3x and 2x. I'm going to guess it's 1 and 3. This is negative, so one's a positive, one's a minus. And now you check the O and the I, because you forced the front and the last to work. So it's a waste of time to check it. So check the outside. Minus 9x plus 2x gives you minus 7x. Sure enough, you got the middle. I guessed it right. I totally guessed, guys. I didn't see it. Okay? I guessed. All right? So let's try this one. Let's guess again. How about 2x and 2x? It could be 4 and 1. It could be 4x and 1x. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Okay? I need a 3 and a 1 because it's negative. One's a plus, one's a minus. Now you check the O and the I because you know the F and the L are going to work. So let's try the outside. Minus 2x plus 6x gives me 4x. I guessed. I'm getting lucky. That's all there is to it. Okay? I guessed it and got it. Okay? If it didn't, you'd have to switch. I wish I'd get something that didn't work so you could show you what happens when I don't guess correctly. Okay, it's got to be 5x and x. It's got to be a 3 and a 1. Okay, I don't know which one works. Let's try it. 5x. Oops, they're both plus. Sorry about that. And I got it again. So let's say I didn't guess right because I need to get one where it doesn't work. Okay, let's say I put the 1 and the 1 and the 3 there. Okay, they're both plus. There's 15x. Oops, and there's 1x. So you get 16x, which ain't the middle. So when it doesn't work, switch the two numbers. Okay, it's all about just guessing. Okay, I need a 2x and an x. 4 I'm going to think of as 2 and 2 rather than 4 and 4. Oh, wait, no. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's do 2 and 2, because I need one that doesn't work. They're multiplying to positive, adding to negative, so they're both minus. Now check the outside, inside, minus 6x. It didn't work. So instead of using 2 and 2, I'm going to use 1 and 4. Okay, so I'm going to change that to a 1 and a 4. Could it be 4 and 1? Sure, it could be 4 and 1 rather than 1 and 4. Okay, but again, it's just about guessing. So there's minus 8x, minus 1x, sure enough, minus 9x. That would be the proper factorization of it. Okay? 9x squared, I'm going to guess 3x and 3x. 1 and 2, they're both plus. There's 6x and 3x, which gives you 9x. So we got it. Okay? It's just about guessing and checking. Okay, this one looks a little bit harder. I'm going to guess 2x and 3x, and 6, 2, and 3. I could put 2 and 3, yep, for 6. They're multiplying to negative, so one's a minus, one's a plus. We know that that's going to give us the 6x squared. We know that's going to give us the minus 6. So again, the only thing you need to check is the O and the I. Outside, 6x, minus 6x. Didn't work, did it? Okay, that gave you 0. So again, it's not that you're a failure, it just means you need to switch the numbers. So I'm going to switch these. How about 3 and 2? So there's 4x minus 9x, which gives me minus 5x. So the only thing that's wrong, because I have a minus 5 and I need a positive 5, is I'm off by a sign. So there it is. Okay, and you can change that to subtract if you want, rather than putting a minus in there. That's up to you. Okay, so I was off by a sign. Well, that second time, but the first time I was off by where the numbers were placed. Okay, so I'm going to go with 2x and 3x. 9, yikes, it's 3 and 3. They're both positive, so they're both positive. Check the outside, 6x, inside, 9x, 15x. We got it. Okay, 2x and 2x. 2 and 3. See what happens. They're both plus. Outside, 6x, inside, 4x. You're adding 10x. You got it. Okay? All right. Your homework is to factor all of these. And some of them, remember, have a leading coefficient of 1. So watch out for those. Okay? Meaning that those are the easier ones. All right? And then factor the ones that with the leading coefficient isn't 1. So it's not true all the leading coefficients are not equal to 1 on this. Okay, some of them are. All right? But it's practicing the patterns that we've been working on in the previous pages. Okay?